Yes, sir. Welcome back to another episode of the Skate Escape. Without further ado, I am your host, Malcolm Watson, and let's jump right into it. Episode 37, but who's counting? This past weekend was Tampa Pro. And as I said in previous episodes, the Japanese are just making light work. It was easy money for Yuto. He went out there and his trick selection and consistency is just impeccable. He's so far ahead of the game with just doing tricks that have never been done before. And needless to say, easy win. He went out there, he did work, and bought the victory home. Crazy list of sponsors too. I heard that he's sponsored by Delta Airlines, which is, I mean, must be nice. It's like hitting the lotto. Um, Aside from Delta, just a made man in general and made light work of the course. Shane O'Neill, once again, flawless, but the level of competition, I mean, it honestly, when it comes to a contest like Tampa, typically there's about five or six guys. It might just come down to who falls on one trick at the end of the day, but there was some guys out there that, man, it could have went either way, needless to say, but Yuto had about two or three MVDs in there, and it was a hands down, you know, flawless victory. My word of advice for anyone trying to go to the Tampa contest, especially in the pro realm of things, if your skills are not razor sharp and you don't go out there with the eye of the tiger and a serious plan, it's a waste of your money. And definitely, if your sponsors aren't on point, it might just be a waste of money. I mean, it's really a gamble. It's a mix between going to Vegas and putting all your money on black or red on that roulette table, or going to this contest without a legitimate list of sponsors and trying to make that top five, top three cut. I mean, you might be good enough to get in that finals and you'll walk away with different sponsors, but at the end of the day, it definitely plays a major part in where you place. And I mean, if you don't believe me, just look at the history of Tampa Pro and go down that list and look if anyone has won that contest that doesn't have an A-list sponsor or a top shelf sponsor. You do the homework for yourself. Tampa Am, a little bit different situation. You could definitely walk in there with no sponsors and walk away a made man, or walk away with a few business cards, and at the same time, even on that space, walk away with nothing. And I've seen people fly from all over the globe get in there and just see what it's like and say they're not coming back. It is what it is. I'm just saying, if you show up there, especially in this day and age, um, be on your A game. It really doesn't matter if you're there 2 weeks early, 3 weeks early. If you have the same course in your backyard because you watch Tampa Am and you just wanted to show up at Tampa Am, look at the course, perfect it, and have your line laid down, it's just such a steep level of competition. And I will admit that the sticker job, needless to say, it can make or break you when it comes down to making it to that top 10 roster, much less top five. And so, just think about it. It's a gamble because at the end of the day, you have to pay for a plane ticket, regardless of where you're coming from. You got to pay for that hotel for at least 3 nights minimum. You're going to need some food. And last but not least, that ride to and from the airport, your entry fee, and the whole nine. So, even to make it make sense from the pro realm, you have to place, I'll give it top three. Anything less than top three, and you're in the hole. Because I've seen people show up there. I mean, just take this year for example. First place was 10 grand, second place 5 grand, and so easily, no holds barred. It's roughly a $2,000 mission, and that's putting it lightly, depending on your taste. If you need to, if you want that bed and you feel like you might be too good to sleep on the floor, you're gonna end up spending top dollar and just barely breaking even at the end of the day. And on top of that, it may not improve your situation. You could just as easily show up there with no sponsors, kill it, and leave with no sponsors or opportunity, and it's on to see you at the next contest. So it's a double-edged sword, gentlemen. Look at the past years. One person that stood out that if I was his team manager, I would have to be in his ear in terms of trick selection would be Andy Anderson. Excuse me. from Canada, riding for PAL. And that's one example of someone that just keeping it real when it comes to the industry. They're kind of laughing, but Andy is the people's champ. He can go out there and do anything on a skateboard. But if I was his team manager and he makes it into the semifinals, he has to because he lands everything. But he needs to eliminate like the foot plants and just some of these tricks that I would say hurt instead of help. I remember looking at last year's best trick contest, and the man did a dark slide down a handrail that had a long kink in it and back down the rail flawlessly. I don't know how many times it took him. I saw Cab in the background. It was amazing. And that trick, for me, no holds bar. If he had did that the next day when the best trick contest was held, instead of trying to do, a 50-50 foot plant, spin around 50-50 back down while you have Jamie Foy coming up behind him, front crooking the thing to pop over front feeble. It's a terrible trick selection for you. You're not going to win. The fans will love it. The spectators will love it. But at the end of the day, if you really want to, take it to that next level, Andy, beef up that trick selection. And I'm going to blame that one on the team manager. The PAL TM should be in his ear. The Etnies TM, whoever that is, should be in his ear because Andy is fully capable of, I'm going to say, placing top 5, if not at least top 10 in that finals. And I get tired of seeing him rip it, but the trick selection is off. The spectators are on their feet. They're screaming his name. His board is sold out on the site. But when it comes to the contest, doing the circus tricks, it's just not going to propel him to that next level. And I salute him. And one person that he reminds me of, without a doubt, is Nate Sherwood. I would watch Nate Sherwood show up at Slam City Jam in Vancouver. And the industry, once again, they cool guide him. But the fans, the spectators, skaters, non-sponsored skaters, people were on their feet, standing ovation anytime Nate took the course. And without a doubt, Nate Sherwood, his trick selection was impeccable. He was light years ahead. And it's funny because just a few years prior, we'll say early 90s, people were doing the pressure flips and all kind of other variations of flips and fully taken care of. But then Nate did it a few years later, so many different variations of it, the 50-50, and half the stuff you wouldn't even see him practice it. They would just call his name and he would go out there and land boats and still be skating after his time, landing everything, and spectators would be on their feet. And that is skateboarding. Nate Sherwood, your Andy Anderson, those are the type of people that inspire young kids that haven't touched a skateboard or see skateboarding for the first time. Those are the ones that get inspired to want to pick up a skateboard and get bit by that bug and go full force into it. It's not, especially in this day and age, it's not so much the techiest of the tech of skaters that are inspiring people. One example, and this is just keeping it real, no filter. When you look at the YouTube space, there's so many kids across America. I'm only speaking for America. I haven't been abroad yet to see what the consensus is with skate shops, but it's so many young skaters across America that have revived skateboards as their top brand. They look at a person like Nigel, Shane O'Neill, Philippe Gustave, like all these other craftsmen, and they'll call them robots just because the level of skateboarding that they're doing is so technical that they don't even want to begin to dissect it. But they can relate to looking at a YouTube video of a guy on Revive taking 15 minutes to ollie over the hip at a skate park or 30 minutes trying to kickflip. And it blows me away because in this day and age, just going to YouTube and looking at the numbers, this is all database. You have a video of a guy named Del Decker doing, skating with a helmet on, maybe full pads sometimes, trying to do a kickflip over a hip at a skate park, and he'll take 30 minutes to land it and show the whole process, 29.50 seconds of not making it, and have close to 250,000 views, if not more, on that video. So the numbers speak for itself. And for a lot of kids, that's their favorite skater because they can relate to going to the skate park and everything not being first try, not just being dialed in with the board. And so with that being said, they walk in the shops across the US and say, do you have Revive? Shop says no, and they walk right out the door. And that's what opens up the door to that straight to consumer, direct to consumer fan base that skateboarding has. And without a doubt, that's how companies like Revive are winning. They don't need support of core shops, much less the industry, because they're taking it straight to the kid's front door, direct to consumer style, much like a Tesla. And on a side note, I saw the new Tesla truck on the road today, at least three of them on the big rig, and my goodness, they look craptacular. I mean, it looked groundbreaking a couple years ago, but it took too long to come out. And now that it's out, it's almost like a Halloween costume going along the highway. But to each his own, you know, six figures must be nice. I couldn't do it myself. I probably, yeah, I won't even get into that. I digress. But back to these contests, if you are not dialed in, razor sharp, with 8 ounces of stickers on your board, in all honesty, save your money, gentlemen. Save your money. Just stay home. I mean, maybe go out and support just for the love of skateboarding, but at the end of the day, keep your expectations realistic when trying to enter contests on that level, because 9 times out of 10, there's a 98.5-7% chance that no matter how many tricks you land in a row, if your sticker job isn't right, you will not make the top three of this contest. And that's just keeping it real. So on that note, this has been another episode of the Skate Escape. You guys stay inspired, stay encouraged, stay motivated, get out there, get it. You don't even have to hit a park. Just go skate some flat ground, relieve some stress, take your mind off the day, off the all the ills in the world, and just go get some. Until next time, I will see you on the next one on the Skate Escape. Peace.